time they try to test this man, they try to give him a tough fight, he just absolutely goes for the fighter.
Yes, but he just finished kill shot Fletcher with a freaking calf kick in like 40 seconds.
Dude, I mean, what do you do to challenge this man?
It's not every day you see a talent this unstoppable arise. On September 7th, inside the iconic Olympia Arena in Liverpool, that unstoppable challenger finally reaches his opportunity for gold. A championship once held by some of the biggest names in the entire country's combat sports history.
And there's the submission! Paddy Pimblett wins in featherweight title on full contact contender.
Kurtis Campbell, a native son of this historic port city, at 4-0 clashes with a fellow undefeated phenom from the other side of the world in Matheus Lima. They'll be joined in a truly titanic clash between KO artists Emile Vujakovic
He's hurt! He's hurt! On the knee!
With the knee, and it's down, and it's over!
and Arthus Ozolins in the co-main event.
Kirill I was just about to say Kirill has landed the whole shots.
It's one that will almost certainly spell a title shot for the victor. Joining them will be a who's who of up-and-coming UK stars ready to light the Olympia on fire. This is the countdown for Full Contact Contender 39, live on UFC Fight Pass. Kurtis Campbell is no stranger to world titles. In fact, as an amateur, he was one of the most decorated the UK has ever seen.
Wow, final seconds. Kurtis Campbell, double champ, 5 titles now to his name. Undoubtedly the #1 amateur in Europe.
This was for the best amateur featherweight in Europe. No joke.
But life wasn't always so easy for Kurtis. It was a childhood rife with bullying from other kids and torment.
You know, I was small, fat, and had a comb over glasses. It's not an ideal look, and especially in this city.
He's always like a proper little chunky kid with these glasses. I used to say he was a cross between Joey Essex and the Milky Bar Boy.
Kurtis's father is his coach, so you might assume he's the one that got him started into MMA, but the truth may actually surprise you.
Everyone thinks I worked with Jaggy. It wasn't. I used to take him to all his classes all the time. He was a little chubby, blonde, little glasses, quiet boy. And when he was in school, I used to say, he needs to be tougher, he needs to be tougher. What happened was my cousins, 2 boys, they went to do tag. So she said, bring them along, so we took them along. I was there 10 minutes, he'd come off the mat crying, I don't want to do this, Mum. I was like, why? I don't like it. I went, right, get back on them mats and you will do it. And then every week I made sure he went.
It wasn't immediate, but the family began to see a change in him. Finally, things came to a head a couple of years later.
I remember I was doing someone's hair and he was on the phone crying to me and he was in the toilets. And I was like, what's the matter? And he was like, Mum, this boy wants to fight me. And I was like, why? And he went, I don't know, he just wants to fight me. And I was like, oh my God, what do? I was doing someone's hair. She was getting a full bleach all over. So I was like trying to do her hair and I had him on the phone crying. And I just said to him, listen son, my only advice to you is that you don't stand up to this bully. He will pick on you for the rest of your life. Now is time to be counted. You have to do it. I jumped in the car then and I raced down to the school, got speeding ticket. My little baby's in this toilet crying, he didn't want to fight. So I hadn't even got to the school and he phoned me back and he went, Mum, I've just had a fight. And I was like, what? And he went, yeah, I've just battered him. And I was like, I was in the car, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's done this.
Before they knew it, Kurtis was emerging as an outstanding young talent.
It started to change in a good way, as in I started believing in myself, I started trusting in myself and my own abilities. I gained more confidence.
He was unbeaten. I was getting more confident because he was confident.
When I'd come home on a weekend, I'd be home for 5 o'clock on a Friday, so I'd be in there on Saturday and Sunday with him doing extra bits and bobs, padding, training, rolling, grappling. Whatever I could do for him.
Thanks to his father Jay, now done and no longer out of town with work constantly, things stepped up to a whole new level.
He trains out of KC, our gym. Then he trained out at Jason Tan's gym, Liverpool MMA. Then he trained out at Loz's gym, or to Liverpool Combat Academy. And then he goes to the Four Corners with John Gillies. He trained in San Diego. Phil Davis, Mr. Wonderful. We got to train with the likes of Jeremy, you know, Dominic and that. But I'm a believer in you can't have everything under one roof.
And of course, he's not alone. Since a young age, Kurtis was coming up with notable talents like Connor Walsh and Charlie Barmer, a powerful trio in Liverpool. Connor himself is an incredibly accomplished champion in his own right, who being just a year younger, has also recently transitioned into his pro career as well.
Wow! First round submission! Incredible! Connor Walsh! What they have done with this gym is special.
I will be in UFC and I'll be UFC champion one day. 100%.
I look at Kurtis' blood. I really do. Like, he's not just the best mate, he's like a brother to me. I just live like 5 minutes away from here, and a few of my mates come up and they come to the gym, and the first thing I seen was Charlie Barman and Kurtis Campbell just knocking 10 bags of shite out of each other in the ring. And I was just like, wow, this is mad. And then everyone just welcomed me in, and ever since then it's just been like, ever since, it's just me now. This is just part of me.
But one unofficial motto can be often heard among them at KC Fight Pass.
It's that saying, isn't it? Like, hard work beats lazy talent.
Hard work beats lazy talent.
Since then, Kurtis Campbell has created a truly enormous amount of buzz. This all led him to the aforementioned 5 championships at an amateur level, spanning 3 weight classes from bantamweight to lightweight, including double champ status here at FCC. Beyond that, he's now turned pro and reached 4-0 in virtually flawless fashion, with only one opponent making it to the final bell.
Let's run big shots, big shots. Matheus on the back foot. Oh, massive. Just relax when you're around him. Good time. Looking good. Oh, massive right leg. Straight to the liver, and it's over.
Wow.
Arrow again, just somehow picking it up.
Oh, come out now.
Almost caught him in there. Mixing things up now. Another cut.
Oh! That's it!
Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, Matheus Lima, training out of Salvador, Bahia, Brazil, is the more experienced fighter of the two at the pro level. Already at 5-0 and towering over his 5'9" opponent at 6 feet tall, there are many characteristics that give Lima good reason to feel he will win this fight.
Depois que eu me tornar campeão da FCC, o mundo vai conhecer quem é Teteu de Pituaçu, que vai representar o Brasil e o mundo. Viu que ele chuta bem, é um cara que chuta muito, então a gente vai trabalhar nisso para surpreender na luta.
And with a pro title underneath him now at just age 25, those attributes are already backed by hard-earned championship gold. Just over 1 year ago, he captured the featherweight title for demo fight in Brazil by soundly defeating Lazaro Hoka. Not just on the feet by utilizing his long reach with the hands and by dazzling the crowd with his kicking game, but also his ability to threaten submissions. Despite the crowd defiantly cheering on his opponent, whose nickname is Gazo, and even featuring UFC heavyweight standout Jailton Almeida in his corner, Lima continued to bring forward the pressure on the feet, counter the ground-heavy wrestling tactics of Gazo, and handily win the fight. But Matheus Lima himself is no stranger to a difficult early childhood. Much like Kurtis Campbell, Lima was also enrolled into training as a solution to the bully problems he faced living in Salvador. As a boy who always seemed to find himself in the midst of fistfights against much bigger kids growing up, it was his father that recognized when he was still just 10 years old that it was time to make a change.
Na minha infância eu era menino muito rebelde, né? Sempre colocando briga na rua. Então meu pai decidiu colocar no jiu-jitsu. E eu comecei a treinar, gostei muito de treinar jiu-jitsu e não parei mais.
And it wasn't just any coach, but it was the legendary Yuri Carlton, a celebrated figure in Brazil who's trained a who's who of Brazilian MMA legends, most famously Junior dos Santos, but he's worked with many more. And within 3 months of picking it up, Lima was already entering competitions.
Eu tenho muita força de vontade e aqui no Brasil somos criados sempre para a guerra. E quando chegar lá não vai ser diferente. Isso é o incentivo que eu tenho.
Between that, with his father helping him and his mother pitching in to take care of his daughter while he works to pay the bills and fights to advance his career, he's made it his mission to repay his parents with a better life.
Hoje eu sou atleta de MMA e quero mudar minha vida e a vida da minha família com isso.
Make no mistake about it though, Kurtis and his team fully understand what he's up against.
My life, there's literally nothing else that goes through me head besides fighting. And now that these times come, I'm ready. It's about time. It's what I've been working for, and you know, this is what the future holds. And moments like this, I can't take them for granted, and I've just got to take it with both hands.
I've gone into the habit where I sort of block it out now. I have to deal with the fight. I have to deal with like the breakdown, how we're going to beat him, his obviously strong points, his weak points. So dissecting the fighter, it sort of takes away me worrying about.
I think Jake tries to protect me. Like, will he be alright? Will he be alright? And he goes, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But yeah, I think this now is going to be like his biggest to date.
Obviously, he's no mug. He's 5-0. He's a Brazilian champion. You know, we know what we're getting into.
So does Matheus Lima, who understands the history of the FCC Featherweight belt.
Vai ser uma luta dura, mas eu tenho certeza que estou bem treinado e quando chegar a hora vai ser um show. Pode ter certeza. O Pepe Pringles e o Aaron Murphy estão no top contender do UFC, acima do top 15. E eu tenho certeza que eu chegarei lá também depois que conquistar o cinturão do FCC.
And on September 7th, both do not mince words about what they have in store for their opponent staring across the cage.
It lights a fire up my arse even more because I know how dangerous he is. Makes me get out of bed in the morning a lot more with a skip in my step because I know what's coming. That 5-0 is just a goal to make it 5-1. I've got a Brazilian hunting me from halfway across the world, and sorry to say, but he's going to have a terrible flight home.
Meu adversário tem dito coisas sobre mim, dizendo que eu vou ter um voo de volta terrível pro Brasil, mas eu tenho certeza, Kurtis Campbell, vai ter uma ambulância esperando lá fora e eu vou te quebrar todo naquele queijo. Pode ter certeza.
The Pink Panther is a star. He's here to stay. He's here to make more statements. Total domination.
Oh my God, like every time we watch the Pink Panther, you don't think it can get any more impressive, but that was incredibly impressive right there. 4-0.
Matheus Lima. The main event isn't the only blockbuster fight on the card taking place between international talents. Co-main event features two of the most terrifying middleweight KO artists throughout the whole of Europe. On one side of the cage is a devastating striker by the name of Arthus Ozolins from Latvia. And on the other, himself an absolute nightmare striker and one of the biggest talents to come out of the United Kingdom in recent years, Emil Vujakovic. As one of the biggest standouts in the entire promotion, many have gotten to know Emil through his fighting style in the cage, but the place he trains is deceptively humble. It's a hard training background, deeply rooted in the country's combat sports lineage to the foundations of MMA, catch wrestling. Heavily resembling the world-famous Snake Pit with its no-frills presentation, this is no gym for the faint of heart.
We've been doing this since the dawn of MMA in England and the UK, before it was even called MMA. I can tell you now that there's not many like black belts or high-level ranking fighters that haven't either been through ASW or maybe like a style of coaching from Darren and the founder, Jack Malford. I've seen like handfuls and handfuls of guys come down and leave and not come back just because it's tough.
But perhaps he was able to put up with the arduous training conditions not just because of his own mental toughness, but because of his lineage reaching back to Serbian immigrant parents who taught him Muay Thai growing up.
I've always wanted to be a professional athlete when I was younger. Like when you're young, your goal is to be a professional footballer. My mum and dad, my parents, they're always training. They were Thai boxers and I grew up watching them after school training, and you just have to watch and learn, and then you get to an age where you start getting into the classes. But I was more into football. Like, even though I enjoyed it, Thai boxing wasn't something that you watched on TV or not many people did it. I remember all my school friends used to think I was weird. Like, like hitting pads and that. Like, they come out something like, what's that?
Even more than the training background, there was once a point in his life where it looked like not just combat sports would be out of the question, but something far more nightmarish and sinister began looming over his life.
Yeah, so around COVID time, 2020, I had like a swollen, I wouldn't even say it was a gland, it was just like, it was almost like a cyst or something, like it was here, right under the jawline. I'm 30 now, so I was 26. The main reason why I got it checked out was because I went sparring and no one would spar me because I had a lump there, and they were like, that's worse, that's getting worse, we don't really want to hit you. So the biopsy came back, it was like a benign tumour. There was a few risks with the operation as well, so they basically said like there's 25% chance of you losing some use of your face because it sits on the nerve, and when we have to remove it, even if we don't have to damage the nerve, but even if we like irritate it a little bit, it can change the nerves in your face. And I was like, listen, if it's not going to get any better and it's only going to get worse, it's coming out, like, it's a chance I'm going to take. So and then they said they'd be in touch with me like 6 weeks, send it off for test. Anyway, they rang me like 6 days later. So when they rang me, I thought, yeah, this ain't good. So I just opened my gym, I just opened Ace Conditioning, and I had a full day of clients and a full week of clients. I remember saying to the doctor, can you not just tell me now, because I've just opened yesterday and I've got like a full diary and I can't cancel clients because, let's be honest, people don't care. If you've opened the gym and then you cancel your full day, it doesn't look good, does it? So I went in, had a meeting with the doc, and he basically just said it's cancer.
And with such a heartbreaking diagnosis, you would think, as many did, that this would be the end of his career. Everyone around him became incredibly aware as they found out, and he was certainly noticing the difference in his training.
It all came in the territory of like, you've had a lot of work on your face and you won't be able to fight again, and like there's a problem like, my skull could be damaged and it could be not as strong, and there was all these things. All my face was burnt and the energy was low, and like I was pale, and it affects you, do you know what I mean? It affects, like, my speech wasn't the same because my tongue was swollen and all the inside of my gums were burnt, and I couldn't eat food because my teeth were sore and swollen and stuff. So people started to notice it then, but for a long time I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want people feeling sorry for me. People, new clients were coming in the gym, new members, and I'd pick a weight up and they'd be like, oh no, don't do that. I'm like, mate, been doing it for like 12 weeks, like 16 weeks or something. Like, I was all right 2 days ago, but as soon as people knew, it changed the way they were.
But Emile himself didn't respond to this in any way at all resembling those around him. Whether it was those in the hospital beds next to him or at home for Vujakovic, it was a completely different story.
I just had, I don't know, I'm not saying it's mentality. I think I just got really lucky with it, to be honest. When you start treatment, you see the same people all the time, and they'd be like you'd see like a 5-year-old girl, and then one day you just won't see her again. Do you know what I mean? But I, from day one, thought, nah, that's not me. That like, I'll be sound. I remember my girlfriend at the time, fiance now, she was saying to me like, you can say you're upset, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it as a defense mechanism. Like, I'll be all right. Like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And I was training every day, and you're losing weight, but I was the only person, because they weigh you every couple of days. I was the only guy who never lost any weight.
Still, mentality and self-belief aside, there was a very real concern about his career, even if he could recover.
And I remember just being heartbroken about the fact that, like, never going to be a pro, never going to be a world champion. That probably got me through every day, doing all the treatment and, lying on the bed for the amount of time you have to lie on, and bleeding needles in you all the time, and lasers in you all the time, and medication and all that. I want to be a world champion. I want to be UFC world champion.
Remarkably, he didn't only return, he realised championship gold at the amateur level.
Look at that. Step through. Oh, there's the kick right. again. He landed it. Ground and pound from the top now from Emile. And there's the finish.
Wow.
Look how much it means to him to get a knockout like that on your record and then to come back after a layoff, get a loss, maybe feel like you can't do it again.
Vujakovic then also took the leap into the pro circuit, absolutely devouring every opponent he's faced inside 3 rounds.
Incredible debut. He's hurt. That's it.
Beautiful knee. Second round submission from Emile Vujakovic.
He's hurt.
On the knee. With the knee, and it's down, and it's over. Another finish for Emile Vujakovic.
Now standing tall at 4-0 with the life-threatening diagnosis now in the rearview mirror, Vujakovic reaches his next big test in the form of Arthus Ozolins, who's competed in the furthest-reaching promotions throughout Eastern and Western Europe. Arthus has truly been there, done that, and come back to tell the tale while managing an astonishing ascent of his own. Idolizing the greats like Mirko Krokop and dreaming of his moment himself, Arthus is here to make a statement, stop the hype train of Emile Vujakovic and set his sights on the FCC World Middleweight title. He's gone through a physical transformation himself over the last 15 years as a top-level mixed martial artist that has been nothing short of remarkable. Starting out as a championship-level kickboxer, competing in WAKO and K1 tournaments, in addition to placing in grappling tournaments, he is far more than just a striker. On top of that, he's trained with big-time strikers like Misha Serkinov and even Darren Till while training in Sweden. But more also than that, throughout his entire career, Arthus has shown that he can bring it. And with 3 more absolutely devastating finishes back-to-back in his last 3 fights, this titanic clash between each of these 2 finishing powerhouses will come to a head inside the Liverpool Olympia. Joined alongside the main event, FCC 39 showcases the best in mixed martial arts from various corners of the planet, and promises to deliver a night of fights that one can simply not afford to miss.